Howdy everyone, we're about 20 to 30 minutes away from starting to collect pollen from this flower, which is Giselle, and use it to cross-pollinate Laverne Pink, and then we're going to use the pollen from Laverne Pink to cross-pollinate Giselle. So before I start, I just want to give you a little tour of the flower anatomy and what we're trying to achieve when we do this hem pollination, cross-pollination specifically for these specific flowers and fruit, because these guys are basically sterile, self-sterile. So basically their own pollen doesn't work on themselves, so you got to use a different type of pollen that is compatible in order to set fruit. So basically right over here you have the flower, you have the petal, you have the stigma, you have the pistil, you have the anthers, and right where the anthers are is where the pollen resides, and that's what we're going to collect. So you want to collect the pollen and then go to right here on the top of the stigma. You have these little lobes called the stigma lobes, where that's where we're going to brush off all of the pollen. Okay, and then we're going to brush it as best that we can, so we can have a better success on getting better fruit, get a better size of the fruit, and hopefully a better tasting food. That's basically what we're looking for. So later on, I'm going to show you how we do the process and how we cross-pollinate these flowers.
A few moments later.
Alright guys, we're back. Now we're going to collect the pollen from this Giselle dragon fruit, and we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, which is just we're going to disturb the anthers and we're going to collect it in this cup right here. So we're going to be as careful as we can, and let's do it this way, which is a little easier, and we just going to do that. And as you can see, look at all the pollen that is right there, and we're just gonna collect. I'm gonna collect enough just to use it on the Laverne Pinks, because the one that I really want to save is gonna be the Laverne Pink, which we're gonna use it in the future to store it. Okay, so this is enough. I should have maybe a little bit more. You don't need much. Alright, there's gonna be some over here. And you can tap it. There you go, you see a lot coming out. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is gonna take this pollen and use a different one to cross-pollinate Laverne Pink. So here we have Laverne Pink, and we have 3 flowers. So right now we're just going to use the pollen just to go and brush off the stigma and the lobes on the Laverne Pinks. So we're going to be generous and just going to go around and just brush it off all over it. And we'll do that on all of the flowers, all the stigmas and all of the flowers. Alright. Alright, once you successfully pollinate the flowers, usually you get fruit between 45 to 55 to 60 days on average, depending on the fruit and the weather also itself. So I'm being generous, and it's going all over, and do that. All right, that's basically it. That is all set. Now we're gonna collect the pollen from Laverne Pink, and we're gonna do it with a different method. Alright guys, now I'm going to show you how to collect the pollen the most efficient way, using a small vacuum. Okay, this is a very inexpensive vacuum, got on Amazon, super cheap, and we're going to use it to collect as much pollen as we want, and then we're going to save this pollen for another day for short-term or long-term usage. Here we go. And all we're going to go is get inside the anthers, get inside all the flowers, and collect as much as you can. And there's going to be a ton of pollen under this. Be as gentle as you can. All right, we're going to move on to the next flower. All right, we're going to move to the next one. And we're done, guys. And that is basically how you collect pollen. And then I'm going to show you later what we do to store it for later usage. Alrighty. So now, guys, we're just going to show you how much pollen we collected and what we're going to do next. So here we go. I'm just got to be a little careful here. Most of the pollen is inside here. And we're going to remove this. And there's quite a bit. Right? And then we're just going to put it. And we got a lot. This is good. All right. So now all we're going to do is leave the pollen in a dried area for about 12 to 24 hours, depending on where you're located. In my area, it's very humid. Usually wait about 1 day. So tomorrow about this time is when I'm gonna store it, where it's gonna be used either for short term or long term. If you leave, like in the West Coast, 12 to 16 hours is more than enough. Okay, so this is all we got. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.